fools. Got that fire inside, we're rising up to shine. This is our time, yeah, we're feeling so divine. Oh, we're thriving, we'll be thriving, bold and free. Women owning midlife, just you wait and see. Dance through the changes with a heart so strong. This is our anthem, come and sing along.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Not Your Mother's Midlife. I'm your host, Joanna, and today's episode is not about hacks, and it's not about perfection, and it's definitely not about willpower. Willpower is what people blame when they fail. That excuse is outdated and wrong. The reality is this. Most people are not struggling because they're weak. They're struggling because the modern food and lifestyle environment is engineered to hijack their brain chemistry, hormones, and metabolism. Ultra-processed foods now make up over half of the calories that most adults eat, and closer to 2/3 of what kids eat. And these foods are strongly linked to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, depression, anxiety, and even dementia. Boy, oh boy. So, if you feel like you've tried everything and just can't stick with it, you're not broken. You're in a biochemical trap. This episode is about stepping out of that trap with 3 powerful things you can start doing to transform your health without relying on willpower. Okay, first, stop eating edible products. I've got that in air quotes. And start eating real food. We're going to start with food because it's the foundation. And when most people hear eat healthier, they think fewer calories, more discipline, maybe an app to track macros. But the real divide isn't between high carb and low carb, vegan or carnivore, etc. It's between real food and what could honestly be called edible products. Again, the air quotes. Ultra-processed foods are things that come out of factories, not fields. Boxed snacks, sugary drinks, frozen meals, packaged pastries, flavored yogurts, candy-like breakfast cereals. They're full of refined starches, added sugars, industrial seed oils, emulsifiers, colorings, and preservatives. Oh my gosh, doesn't even sound like food. Sounds so inedible. They're designed to be hyper palatable and hard to stop eating. They're addictive. It's a perfect combination of sugar, fat, salt, and texture that light up the reward pathways in the brain and encourage overeating. This is why a bag of chips or a sleeve of cookies or biscuits or bickies, as I call them, can magically disappear, while almost no one accidentally overeats apples or boiled potatoes. Oh my God, I just can't stop shoveling this broccoli in my mouth. Actually, I have said that. I bake my broccoli in the oven with some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and it is so good. I literally cannot stop snacking on it. It's really good. You should try baking or roasting, I guess you could call it, broccoli rather than boiling or steaming. It tastes so much better. Anyway, back to the story, Joanna. So if you ever felt weak around certain foods, it's not you. It is by design. You're dealing with a biochemical trap. It's not a character flaw of yours. Research shows that the more of these ultra-processed foods that people eat, the higher risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, anxiety, and early death. I think we all know that, but when you really think about it, it's terrifying. One large analysis even found that for every 10% increase in calories from ultra-processed foods, mortality risk rose significantly. That's scary. So, the first step you can make is this, and it's not very difficult. Shift from ultra-processed foods to real foods. Real food is simple. Real food is something that your great-grandmother would recognize. Vegetables and fruit, beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, eggs, fish, poultry, meat, whole, minimally processed grains. I mean, we all know this information. Anything that looks like it came from a farm and hasn't been turned into a neon-colored science project, that's food. You don't need to count every gram or weigh every bite. Instead, just try a few practical changes. Shop the perimeter of the grocery store first, where all the fresh food lives. Well, the meat isn't alive, hopefully, if you're shopping in a regular grocery store. Build your meals around protein source, a big pile of vegetables and some healthy fat. Swap one ultra-processed meal or snack a day for something real. An apple and nuts instead of chips. Real full-fat yogurt with berries instead of the sugary dessert-type yogurts. Cooking doesn't require talent, honestly. It requires reading. If you can read, you can cook. My grandson can read a recipe and bake. So if you can read, you can cook. If you can catch a ball, you can catch a wrench. Name that movie. Once you start eating mostly real food, something interesting happens. Hunger signals and cravings begin to normalize. Protein, fiber, and healthy fats keep you fuller longer. Blood sugar swings calm down, and it becomes easier to stop when you're satisfied. In other words, your biology stops fighting you. Your body's doing exactly what it's meant to do. Okay, next on the docket, move more. Breathe better. Stress less. The second big change you can make is movement and stress regulation. Sitting has quietly become the dominant lifestyle in wealthy countries, and chronic inactivity is now recognized as a major driver of metabolic disease, cardiovascular problems, and even certain cancers. Staying still all day makes blood sugar control worse, lowers mood, and weakens muscles and bones over time. So what can we do, Joanna? Stop not moving. That's right. You heard me right. Stop not moving. Just start moving daily. Notice the language. The opposite of being sedentary isn't run marathons. It's just move more. Move more than you do now. Just start simple. Walk for 10 to 20 minutes after meals to help your blood sugar and your digestion. Walk past the elevator or lift and take the stairs. Just do 5 minutes of squats with or without weights. Do some push-ups. Start on your knees if you can't do them on your toes, or you can even just do them standing up against the wall. You can find so many workout videos online these days. There's really no excuse. But this most simple one, just put on some sneakers and go for a walk. From about exercise, refer back to my episode 10, Working Out After 40, for more tips, hints, and links. Now let's combine that with stress regulation, because chronic stress and poor sleep undermine nearly every system in the body. High, unrelenting stress is linked with increased inflammation, higher blood pressure, weight gain around the midsection, and greater risk of depression and anxiety. Use your breath to regulate your nervous system. This is where breathwork and meditation shine. Controlled breathing, like slow, deep breathing with a longer exhale, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for rest and digest. Studies show that such breathing practices can lower heart rate, reduce blood pressure, and decrease subjective stress. You don't need to disappear to Bali. Just spend 5 minutes in the morning doing 4-second inhales. Count to 4 on your head. You hold it for 4 seconds, and then you slowly exhale for 6 to 8 seconds. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale. I mean, you can exhale for 4, but it's good to do 6 to 8. I use this controlled breathing all the time when I feel an anxiety attack coming on, especially when I'm driving. Oh my gosh, Houston highways and freeways are nuts. And I have regularly been triggered into a panic attack while driving. There are like 8 lanes and everyone is changing lanes at 80 miles an hour. Use guided meditation in the evening to relax before bed. You can find them everywhere on YouTube. There's apps, podcasts, etc. You don't need to sit on a cushion for an hour. Just 5 or 10 minutes of guided meditation can begin to rewire how you respond to life. I'll attach in the show notes a YouTube channel that I have used before when I need a quick guided meditation. Let movement and breath become your daily medicine, small, consistent doses that keep you physically strong and emotionally steady. And finally, recovery. Sleep, sauna, and cold. The third big change is to stop treating recovery like it's an optional luxury. Most people try to solve exhaustion and burnout with more coffee and more hustle, not realizing that sleep and recovery are where the body actually repairs, detoxifies, balances hormones, and consolidates memory. Chronic sleep deprivation is tied to weight gain, insulin resistance, heart disease, and mental health problems. Sleep is not a luxury. It's a biological requirement for metabolic health, immunity, brain function, and emotional balance. Short sleep typically less than 6 hours a night, is associated with increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease. So aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep most nights. Consistent sleep and wake-up time are most important, even on weekends. A dark, cool, quiet bedroom and reduced screen exposure in the hour before bed to support melatonin production. You can refer back to my episode on sleep for more in-depth guide to this and check out the links in the show notes. There's some really good links in that episode. Now, beyond sleep, 2 tools have growing evidence behind them: sauna and cold exposure. Sauna. The long-term studies from Finland have followed thousands of people for decades and found that those who used a sauna 4 to 7 times a week, typically around 170, 175 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes per session, had significantly lower risk of fatal heart disease and lower all-cause mortality compared to men who used it once a week or less or never. Sauna appears to improve cardiovascular function and blood vessel health. It increases heat shock proteins, which help repair damaged proteins in the cells, enhances sweating-related detox pathways, and supports overall resilience to stress. If you have access at a gym or a wellness center, even a couple of sessions a week may offer benefits. If you have access to one at a gym or wellness center, use it. Even a couple of sessions a week will help. Cold exposure. Short, controlled exposure to cold, like cold showers or cold plunges, has been shown to trigger large spikes to key neurotransmitters involved in mood, focus, motivation, and resilience by several 100%. With effects lasting for hours. Cold exposure can also improve stress resilience by training your nervous system to recover from a controlled shock, support metabolism through activation of brown fat, which burns energy to generate heat, reduce inflammation and soreness after exercise. If you have access, do a cold plunge a few times a week in that 40 to 60 degree range. Just start very conservatively and increase the amount of time you can stay in that cold water. It's really shocking at first, but once you get used to it, it's quite invigorating. But not everyone has access to a cold plunge pool. So a practical alternative might look like ending your regular warm shower with 30 to 60 seconds of cold. Just start really low, like 15 seconds even, and just build up over time till you can get to 60 seconds. What it activates are called hormetic stresses. Stresses that, in small doses, make you stronger. Just like lifting weights breaks down muscles so it can rebuild stronger muscles, the right dose of heat or cold can push your body to adapt in beneficial ways. Just listen to your body and talk to a doctor before trying it if you have underlying conditions such as heart. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to follow a rigid ideology. You just need to give your biology what it has always needed: real nourishment, regular movement, and consistent recovery. Just start with one change and then build on from there, or go all in and create a change in all corners of your life. Just do something. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend who'd love it too. Drop your thoughts or ideas for future episodes. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to the podcast and to my YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. And leave a 5-star review to help others find me. I really appreciate that. And until next week, I'm Joanna Hart, and this is Not Your Mother's Midlife. Bye-bye.